Good evening. This is welcome to the Trails Committee meeting, January 30th, 2024. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:34. We'll do a roll call. Let me know that you're here when I call your name. Will Warren.
Here.
Satyendra Sharma.
Here.
Kat McKee here. Great. Okay, so tonight we are, I've circulated, thank you, Sati, for sending the minutes from January 9th and January 23rd. Have you had an opportunity to review? And if not, can I pull them up?
Yes.
Yes, to I've had an opportunity to review or pull them up.
You can do either if you wish.
Okay, so why don't I pull them up? Okay. Let me share screens. Actually, you know what? Let me get smart. Pull open both of them at the same time so that I don't have to. Great. Now I'm going to share screens. Let me know that you can see the minutes dated January 9th.
Oh, the date on the top, 2024.
You see 2024?
Yeah, January 2024 on the date, Tuesday. No. On the minutes meeting date.
Oh, this should be 24.
Yeah.
Good call. Got it. Oops. Okay. So, hold on, sorry. It's just gonna give me a little, I'll have to deal with that later. Okay, so let me know when you've, if you have any questions or thoughts or comments of these. I'll keep it up and let me know when you're ready for me to scroll down.
Yep.
Yep.
Was that a yes, Will?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. I'm sorry, are we good?
Yeah, good.
Is that a yes?
Yes, that's yes.
Okay. Let me just save it so I don't lose it.
I have the same folder on my
Yeah.
Trails committee.
Is it really gonna let me? Sometimes OneDrive is not my friend.
Oh, I blocked my OneDrive.
You what?
Yeah, I have blocked my OneDrive because it keeps on telling me your OneDrive is full.
Oh, and you're not. Okay, got it. Okay, here's January 23rd.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to change this space.
Yep.
So it's clear now, Sati, that on phase one, we'll put that little, the conversation was like 10 or 15 minutes. That would be.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we hardly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 15 minutes we can write.
Yep. I'm going to put this as a AN for Ann. Requested an ARPA projects of funds update.
Or just put a remove a in total. I mean, just ARPA project front state. That's it.
Say that what?
Requested ARPA project. Yeah, we can remove and.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom is coming on now. He had some computer issues. Great.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'll scroll down. Actually, what I'm going to do is I don't like cliffhangers like that, so I'm going to just page break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me know when you're good.
Good.
Will, you're good?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so does someone want to make a motion to approve January 9th, 2024 and January 2023, January 23, 2024 minutes, please?
I move to approve the two sets of minutes.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Thank you. All in favor? Sati Andra Sharma,
Yes.
Will Warren,
Yes.
Kat McKee. Great. Thank you all. Okay, so next on our agenda, let me find the agenda. So this is going to be a quick one. Sati and I need to talk about signage. So, but Will, I still don't think I've received your timesheet. Hello.
No.
Okay, Will. Let me see if
I apologize.
let me see if I can quickly.
Hey,
Oh,
Kevin, did you get mine? Because mine's on my personal laptop died. So
It-
weak. It died. All my notes, everything is on that personal laptop.
oh no.
And I didn't use OneDrive, which is Microsoft's cloud storage.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm hoping that I sent it. I don't have no records of it.
Well, I don't know that I've seen it. Let's see.
All right, I'll try to recreate it.
Yeah, I think the only one I received was from Sati on Sati.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, so I just resent the email with the timesheets and the instructions and stuff. So do your best and go through the agendas is probably a good place in any email communications. If you go through your sent or your inbox, that could help help organize that. So anyway, one thing I was thinking about with the phase one is we need to double check our NOI. It was a 3-year work order of conditions that we were able to use for the work that we're doing on that property. So we need to double check that NOI date to make sure we are still within the 3-year within the 3-year term. And if not, do an extension through the Conservation Commission with Southborough. So I'll take a look at that and see where we are. And if we need to do an extension, that will just involve because our last piece is the signage and installation of the signage. So there will be disturbance. Although the disturbance should not be, within a buffer. But we still want to make sure we're in compliance before we move forward. So that's just a little tidbit. So tonight's focus will be on number 4, Peninsula Trail Phase 2. So, couple things. Last Friday I spoke with, so I think Tom, I forget when if you've had the recent update. So I'm just going to do a quick overview so you're current on where we are in the process. So in December, I think you were in that meeting. Basically Community Engineering Corps had confirmed a subcontractor, Terracon, to do the geotechnical sub work, and they were working to secure a second subcontractor to do the structural engineering. I've reached out a couple times. I haven't quite heard back from them. I know they have staffing issues at times, and it's a busy time. So we do need to hear from them. We had put a mid-January kind of go, no go date on that second vendor because we have to get going. So I will wait for the update, but need to be proactive about getting them to go ahead and not confirm, but just say, yes, we're ready and Terracon's ready to move forward in this time period. So I reached out to and connected with Beals and Thomas. We as a group had decided that was the proposal we were going to go with for the engineering services. So I met with David on Friday and had a great conversation. They are interested in the project. They would like to move forward with it. I explained to them the pro bono work that we were able to secure through Sati's application. And they were fine working with Terracon. They were outsourcing those 2 services anyway to various subcontractors, the structural and the geotechnical. And so he was open to whatever subs we can that are volunteering their services. So that was great news. What we need to do to get ready for that is we need a letter of proposal from Beals and Thomas to come forward with the revised proposal. I did ask them to be considerate and transparent with any possible consulting extra hours that might become a time sink with these types of projects, relying on their experience. For example, when there's like if you're not choosing the lowest bid and you reject the lowest bidder, they can come back and then say, and appeal, right? So if we decide that the lowest bidder is not responsive, that bidder has the right to appeal. So that would be a time sink. They appeal to the Attorney General's office and there's a process you go through. So I'm not saying that will happen, but I would like some expertise, some thoughts around where could there be some time sink that we're not actually thinking about so that we're budgeting appropriately. And so we will have somewhat of a cushion from the geotechnical piece if assuming we'll have a contingency line item that will help cover some of that. But I want to be really open about where and be very close management of the project to make sure we're not exceeding the estimate budget. But they seemed really open to everything. And we talked about options with the bridge because that came up here. Like, for example, if we aren't able to go forward with the fiberglass bridge, would the specs that they're coming up with work for another type of bridge? And so before I answer that question, I'll talk a little bit about the other types of, substance that they would use. And we had discussed using, the plastic type of decking, that's a Aztec or something like that. Anyway, so there was a project that Worcester did, City of Worcester, and they had that decking and then they had some steel beams or something, and it was an alternative to using wood because we want to make sure it lasts a long time. Well, apparently there was there was static electricity associated with, so many people were getting shocked by just, whatever was happening in their world. People were reporting getting like little electric shocks, just from the static electricity. So that wasn't a recommended approach. He did say, mention a type of tropical wood that holds up really well, but I suggested that we not go that route because it is harvested from a tropical island, and it's not as renewable. Like bamboo grows really fast and you can use a lot of bamboo, right? This isn't one of those substances. So I think it's more of an ethical issue if we were to go that direct route. And I think, Tom, you may remember the consultant had mentioned something about a special type of wood that was resistant, but we had the same kind of concern that it would not quite jive well with the standards that we're trying to abide by for all, parts of the project, not just, we don't just want to do a project, we want to do it the right way and ethical. So we're back down to prefabricated bridge. And the other thing about using a prefabricated bridge that I want us to continue to remember is, because it's a kit, it's easier to install and you don't need as much of the big equipment to get in there and do things. And that's a huge consideration for the location of this project. So having said all that, and then if they do the engineering plans, they have to build it based on the specs of the bridge and the boardwalk, right? So those factors kind of have to be known. And I asked him, how would they write the specs based on, like, what if the vendor that we choose for the bid doesn't buy this bridge and boardwalk kit? And so basically the way they write the bid is it's got to be similar to this in order to meet the specs. So that was good to just kind of walk through some of that. So what we have to do next is we have to hear back from Community Engineering Corps. Will, your camera's on. Nice to see you. We do need to hear back from them so that I can reach back out and give the information to Beals and Thomas so they can write their engagement letter, send that to us. We then need that engagement letter, and Community Engineering Corps is going to have an engagement letter, and there may be something associated with the subcontractor as well. So we're going to have to have all this paperwork put in place and reviewed by legal counsel. So I'll start a communication with Mark Purple and let him know where we are and that this stuff is coming. If we can prioritize it accordingly, but obviously time is of the essence in all sorts of ways. So hopefully that will help kind of grease the wheels and be smooth. I spoke with Tim Davis to give him an update today. So he'll help us if we need to go to office hours and work through some of the contracting. We can try to do that, the legal office hours. And then I also spoke with Beals about reaching out to Framingham and Southborough Conservation and giving them a heads up that this is coming so that they would be prepared. If you recall, Beals and Thomas, they'll be helping with the permitting and such, but we can at least start opening the communication lines of so that they have a project scope and they're aware it's coming. And Beals have worked with both Southborough and Framingham Conservation in many different capacities, so the name will be familiar to the commission, so that's positive. So yeah, so we're going to try to get started as soon as possible. There are going to be it just really it's a little we just need to hear from Community Engineering Corps to make to tie the pieces back together for this. So I'll stop there. And any questions for this piece at this point? Okay. The next thing is the CPA application. So they approved, they voted to move this forward, our application, move it forward to town meeting, but they are meeting tomorrow. So I need to represent Trails at that meeting and submit the updated application based on the letters of support that we've secured and any new information about the Community Engineering Corps. And after speaking with Freddie, the consultant for CPA or CPC, she provided some guidance on how to approach the Community Engineering Corps piece, because in a way we need to still represent that funding is required. Like, even if we have funds that free up from the engineering services, we won't know that for sure until that happens. So we may still want to keep the funding request as is, with a caveat that, if funding becomes available because we are able to acquire pro bono services, then that funding would not be used from CPA. It would just go back to now. So I'll submit that later tonight. I will send you guys a copy of that. And then if you want to come to the meeting, Freddie said it would be like, they're starting at 7, so it'll be the first part of the meeting that we would be available to answer any questions that the committee has. So that's that. Any questions or thoughts? No.
Is that a virtual meeting?
It's virtual and in person, but they said they preferred in person, so I'll be there in person. It's at the public safety building. Please stay.
I haven't been in there.
You have not?
It'll-
Oh, you should. It's great. The public safety, well, one day when we go, well, I don't want to go back to real meetings, I mean in-person meetings, because they're just time sinks, but it's a nice place to meet. It's got good AV in there. It's just nice and spacious, and the chairs are great. Okay.
Is that in town hall? Where is that?
No, it's the public safety building where the new police and fire station are,
Oh, okay.
Of
I know
course.
that place.
across from the senior center. Yeah, next to the school. On 85. Yeah.
There is a side room near the fire.
Yeah, you just walk in and you
Yeah. I've
you
been
have
there.
the whole front area, and then you take a
Mm.
left and you go down the hall. But yeah, it's great. So yeah, so hopefully, our timing and something, Tom, just so you know, Carla, the accountant, had just reached out to ask about a project funds update, right? And said that, the select board was looking to fund any of their projects through and recapture some of the ARPA money from projects that aren't moving forward. So, we're in a bit of a situation where we want to kind of keep things moving and start engaging that so that we can meet our timeline and that the funding won't be reallocated for other town projects. So it's a good effort. They're trying to just reduce tax burden. But it would put us in a bit of a difficult place. So that's why, not just why, but that's why it's really important that we continue to move on a clip. That's going to be.
Do we know when they will make a decision on that?
No, I don't know that we'll know. But Tim he's going to relay to Mark our updates and progress updates. So if anything comes from that update to Mark, I'm sure we'll hear from Tim on that. So we've got a couple of eyes and ears out there listening. And they'll go back to us if something shifts. Okay, so the next thing is the work plan. So when you weren't here, Tom, I voluntold you. I wondered if we had started, so we need a DCR work plan basically for our MOA. And that work plan just talks about the general basic maintenance that we'll be doing on the trails that are owned by DCR. And it's just really a general work plan, and then sometimes more specific, like with our phase 1, phase 2. Well, phase 2 isn't really DCR, so it's just phase 1 is on DCR property. So things like that we just want to kind of document in that. And so I'm wondering if, I think I had started an Excel spreadsheet that just we had separated the trails out and some of the maintenance requirements on that. If I sent that to you, and I think the work plan could just be a Word document in an outline form, right? Like maybe take it by, I guess, general responsibilities of the types of activities we would do on trails. We could have a list of the trails, the activities we would do on the trails, and then special projects, right? So we could kind of be all inclusive as much as we can, but broad. Would you be open and available to help us draft that? It's I wouldn't say it's like time sensitive now, but it is something we need to do. That we executed the agreement last year, so it is due, a little overdue, I would say.
No, my time after this Friday, my time, I got a lot more time. It's just our end of our fiscal year is Friday.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
That's why my last couple of
Got
weeks were very hectic. The whole month of January.
Got it. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But
We
come
won't make
next
it
week.
your emergency. Yeah, we won't make it an emergency for you, but if you could
Yeah,
help
definitely.
draft something, and then we can come back at our next meeting and start talking about it.
Yep,
Just
definitely.
close that loop. Thank you so much. We also talked about, so this next piece is, so we have some interpretive signage that we need to do not only for phase 1, but some of our choke fund grant. And we talked about last time, I don't know if you have been playing around or exploring with ChatGPT in any of your world, but we were considering using it to help us generate text for interpretive signage, right? So with the right prompting, it could maybe come up with, depending on the type of topics we want to do. It might not hit history so much if the history is not like documented on the web or whatnot, but as a way to kind of like focus on different wildlife or invasive plants or native plants or things like that. So Sati was going to take the lead and kind of poke around with that too. And so I don't know if you have any thoughts around.
No, that's a good. I never play with ChatGPT and stuff like that, but yeah, I'll be very curious.
Yeah, it would be. It might just be a great jump start. Sometimes you just need a jump start.
Yes.
To get going, and that might be. And then of course we have to QC it, and nothing off the press.
Yes.
And make sure that the sources are valid and we're not copyright and protect, valid, breaking the copyright rules of anybody. But it might be a nice way to kind of get through that. And then revisit with Isabel. She had created that nice sign that we haven't been able to close the loop on.
Isabella.
Isabel. Yeah, Bella. Sorry, I left the A off. I was going back in time. So yeah, so those things we want to make sure on Q1, maybe we close up and wrap up, so we can at least change a few agenda items on our agenda that don't stay the same each time. Okay, so anything else? And we are like, we have met frequently, Tom, and we're going to be sensitive to that, but at the same time, as we're trying to keep things moving and keep everyone in our committee in the loop, that's the reason why we had a little bit more frequency of meetings. So it might be that way for just the next couple months as we're trying to bang things out and get done. And when it's appropriate, if the committee is comfortable, like, we can talk about some decisions that need to be made. And if we need to execute, perhaps there's an opportunity to say, okay, we're comfortable with Kat or whoever doing this on behalf of the committee, until the next meeting when we can discuss. But I want to keep it as open and transparent as possible throughout the process and document everything that we're doing to make sure that we're good. Okay.
Hey, well, are we on number 6, maintenance stuff?
Yeah, we can.
I don't know if I know it's winter time and we're not doing anything, but there's the one off of White Bagley. I call that Secret Island Trail. There's some trees that need to be cut, and also at night.
You mean off of Pear Partridge?
Yes.
Is it that area? Can we just take
I
all
know.
of the trees down, because they are just dying and giving us grief.
I know. It's just that let's make I don't know if we have a list going, so when the Boy
Yeah.
Scouts or whatever organization says we have
Yeah.
we have our bodies, at least we can
Okay.
know this is a
Is
couple
it
of
blocking the complete? Is complete?
no, it's not terrible. It's
Okay.
not terrible. It's just that put it on the list.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that place got really wrecked, especially in the beginning of the trail. Really wrecked.
yeah, all of those things.
It's not terrible. Like I said, I just wanted, because I was just out at those 2 trails.
Yeah.
And I just put it on the list.
Yeah, thank you. And something along those lines that I'd like to reach out to DPW about before the changing of leadership. DPW had agreed to plow Route 85 at the trailhead near the cemetery, and they agreed to plow out by Chestnut Hill on Route 30, those 2 trailheads. Was there another one? I don't think.
No, those are those 2 that we always
Those
talk.
are the 2 main ones, yeah. So I want to reestablish that request with DPW and see if they would, we haven't had a ton of snow where we need, but as
For
soon
2
as,
years. 2
yeah.
years.
But as soon as, it starts to pile up, then you can't access any trails in wintertime at all. There's just 0 parking. So I want to make sure that, I'll reach out to Bill and see if, they can add that to the list and, without a lot of effort. And see if we can do that. But yeah. So short meeting, but good. And so I think if the committee is comfortable, so I'm going to be submitting the CPA application tonight. I'll copy you or send you a copy, and then we'll meet they'll meet tomorrow. If anything comes out of that significant, I'll share. After that, I'm just going to be coordinating with CEC or the Community Engineering Corps to get them to respond, and trying to get engagement letters from Beals and other entities that we need to. So I think those things will be happening in the next couple of weeks. So if we want to look at meeting schedule, I don't think we need to do it right away, like in a week or so, but how about the week of the 3rd week in February, like something like on the 13th,
Personally, I'm in Chicago all
that whole week?
12th through the 16th. So
Got it.
that's the only time in February that's not good.
All right, how about the 20th?
20th is fine by me.
Okay, so what I'll aim for by then is hopefully we have some signed agreements and we've engaged and moved forward with something. And so hopefully that will be, so we can come back and report progress, and also make any major decisions that need to be made at that time. Does that work for you, Sati and Will, on the 20th of February?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, great. Okay, so I'll submit for that meeting room. And yeah, so unless there's any other questions or thoughts, we can adjourn if someone wants to make a motion to do so.
So be it.
Great. All right, and do we have a second?
Will Warren seconds.
Thank you, Will Warren. And okay, all in favor, Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Will Warren,
Yes.
Pat McKee. Great. Thank you all. Adjourning at 8:04, and we'll see you on the 20th of
So tomorrow, what time meeting is? This is like
Oh, yeah. Is it 7 or 7:30?
7:30. Yeah,
7:30 in the no tomorrow.
CPC tomorrow is 7 o'clock. yeah.
in the evening, right?
Public safety voting.
Okay.
But the meeting on the 20th is at 7:30?
Yep,
Yeah.
7.
Okay, I'm just updating my calendar. Okay,
Thank
it's
you.
just that I put in my work calendar because I can't.
Yeah,
My
I have
problem
to
is my
do
my
the same
laptop had
thing.
my Southborough email,
Yep.
and I can't get to it except for my cell phone, which I had to forward the email to my work email and then get on my work. That's why
Got it.
I know that's an excuse, but that's why.
No, I mean, that's it wouldn't go well with me if it makes me want to back up. I need to check out my backups right away.
So if you actually have Microsoft products, you get 1 terabyte of OneDrive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure you configure OneDrive to put everything.
Yeah. I just sometimes I get errors and I'm not always sure my data is being backed up 100%. So anyway. All right, goodbye all, and thank you
Bye.
for everything.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.